How crypto mining works. Cryptocurrency mining and how it works. We know it's a pretty complicated topic, and there are a lot of complex terminologies. Cryptocurrency mining is a difficult concept to assimilate for most readers, and now it's so trendy. Today I will explain everything behind this concept and how cryptocurrency mining works. First, suppose we know something about cryptocurrencies. They are a digital medium of exchange that works as coins, which is why they are called so. In that case, however, their creation and use are wholly digital, and they use cryptographic methods to make their transactions secure. In this way, the creation of new units is controlled. The transfer of assets is verified. These coins are not under the control of a single entity or company. Still, absolutely all movements made with these coins are recorded, and anyone who has cryptocurrencies can see these movements. You know that blockchain? In case you do not recognize this term, to explain it a little I will give an example. If I want to send money to my friend, I ask my bank and my bank communicates with my friend's bank to record the transfer of funds, which actually does not involve the physical movement of these bills but one or two banks. Neither my friend nor I have any control over this process. It is something internal to the bank, and this is where blockchain comes into play. Blockchain eliminates intermediaries when performing operations, and it is the users themselves who control the whole process. Users become part of a massive bank with millions of nodes, and each one is a participant and manager of the account books of that bank. You may also be familiar with the term exchange, which basically are companies that exchange physical money for virtual money, and just as we carry our physical money in credit cards, this virtual money is also placed in a kind of virtual wallet. Your wallet is totally private and has its own key, so you can operate or save your cryptocurrencies as you want, keeping them safe. I want to send cryptocurrencies to a friend. Now there is no longer a bank involved, but both he and I are part of a large group of users who are responsible for checking that the whole process occurs as it should occur. The exciting and peculiar thing about this process is that the entire group will know what amount happens and what wallet, but no one will know that I am me and who is my friend. In other words, all transactions are anonymous, so I send the message without revealing my identity. When sending this message, all the users of the network first check that the origin wallet has enough money to send it to the destination wallet. If so, they all write down the transaction, which is then completed and becomes part of the transaction block, even if they are not yet definitively registered in the database. As time goes by, more and more transactions are completed. They are added to the block, which has a limited capacity that depends on the structure of the blockchain and the size of each transaction. When a block no longer supports more transactions, it is critical to validate and seal it. This is key because this is what users do when they do Bitcoin mining. Block mining consists of performing a series of complex calculations that require time and increasingly more electricity. The miners, who are the owners of the computer equipment that are responsible for making this sealing process, receive notices of new transactions and gather them in a new block, but they also compete with other miners, because the first one who manages to create a valid block and seals it receives bitcoins or the currency that is being mined. This whole block system is used because it is the way we have to make the process and transactions are safe, and thus preventing someone can truncate the system and divert money without the rest knowing. But back to mining, and is that every several operations is possible that a miner has the ability to win bitcoins or the currency being mined. What happens is that this probability is very low, and on top of that, adding new blocks is an increasingly expensive process, so it is unprofitable for a miner to work alone. This is where the concept of pools arises. The pools are basically groups of miners working as a kind of cooperative. When one of the miners in that group manages to seal a block, he or she notifies the others so that they can verify that this is indeed the case and adds that block to their complete blockchain. That is to say that they all benefit from the Bitcoin that they manage to generate in all the operations of their group. A good teamwork. And from the blockchain, cryptocurrencies, mining and pools arises another new platform, cloud mining. Here we no longer talk about a group of miners who pool their results, but a company that provides the infrastructure and technology necessary for mining and allows normal users like you or me to take advantage of that computing power to participate in the mining process remotely in exchange for cryptocurrencies. Obviously here we would go for percentages. If you for example get to close a block, as the cloud mining would take a percentage of those cryptocurrencies and the user or your other, only obviously the platform would take more than you. Users whenever they are connected and active will receive small amounts of cryptocurrencies that varies depending on the value of the currency being mined. At that time also avoid the risk of the low probability of generating bitcoins, because that risk is assumed by the cloud gaming company. So if you want to approach the Bitcoin mining and maybe you do not have an ultra computer, well, you know you have this alternative.